while it's kind of hard for us sometimes to kind of link whatever we're used to doing day in and day out, like unhealthy foods and lifestyles and drinks and all this kind of stuff, it's sometimes hard for us to link those to health problems that we might develop over time. But one thing that we do know is you can't say that, for example, French fries and chips, sweet drinks, we already know that stuff is not healthy. We know it's not. Even if you don't necessarily think it's linked to illness, you know it's not healthy. So it can't hurt to adjust your lifestyle to a healthier one, to learn about everything you can do, everything you can control, and do that. It can't hurt, and it can possibly help. Good morning, y'all. What's up? So I want to issue a challenge to you. If you are a person who either has not been feeling well or just not, like not having energy, or even you deal with, any sort of health problem, especially one that is, maybe like high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, so on and so forth. But you're just not feeling good, or maybe you got some blood work back, and the blood work didn't necessarily come back optimally and all this kind of stuff. I want to issue a challenge to you. Why don't you just try to do everything you can um on your end possible? Now, when I say just try, I'm not saying that that's all you do. I'm not telling you don't take medication. I'm not telling you, anything like that. I'm saying, whatever your doctor tells you to do. I mean, of course, you stay in conversation with him or her. And then even also when you make changes to your lifestyle, it's important for you to communicate those to your doctor or physician as well. But what I'm saying is, why don't you actually try to do everything in your power to improve your health? Whatever you have under your control. Because here's the thing, a lot of times we have these different kind of things that happen to us. Like I say, it could be some sort of diagnosis like high blood pressure, or an autoimmune disease, or anything. And the way we see it, we feel like it maybe happened by chance and that there's nothing that we can do about it. But if that is you, what I want to ask you is, how do you eat? How much sleep do you get? How much water do you drink? How much physical activity do you engage in? And I could ask a various amount of questions following that, like, how much vegetables do you eat? Um, do you pay attention? Do you feel different ways, like whenever you eat certain things? Um, I could ask a lot of questions from there, but mainly those four. Like, how much sleep do you get? What are you eating? What kind of activity are you getting? And then the fourth one I can't quite remember, but are you doing good with those things? Because if you are not, it might help. And what I'm saying is, it might help you more than you even realize. So, and I get it. A lot of times it's hard for us to kind of believe that anything we do can have any real difference and make a difference in our health, because it's just the way that we've been taught. We've been kind of taught that the everything that we do is just kind of like it's kind of it just is what it is. It has no effect on anything else in our lives. But you got to understand, if you're doing something with your body or putting something inside of your body, it has to have an effect, right? It has to have an effect. You know, a lot of people say food is medicine. I think that even kind of started with Hippocrates. I think it was him that said, "Let medicine be thy food. Let food be thy medicine." Because the thing that we don't really understand a lot of times is that food is not just something that you put in your mouth because you try not to feel hungry and because it tastes a certain way. Food is primarily something to keep your body running. If you stop eating, you die. Not immediately, but like down the road, or if you eat a diet that's very nutrient deficient, then you start having issues. Now, it's hard for us to make that connection because we haven't been taught to think about it that way. But it's true. Everything you do with your body, whether you eat or exercise, sleep, whatever, it has an effect on your body. And the truth is, there is a lot that you can control that has a much bigger impact on your health than you realize. So, what I'm telling you to do is, why don't you just try to optimize the various things that you do with yourself? I'm not saying you have to become like a health nut, so to speak. I'm not saying that you need to start staying in the gym all the time. I don't even go to the gym. I just work out outside, even though I have nothing against the gym and may get a gym membership at some point. I'm just making a point. I'm just saying, why don't you try to do whatever you can to optimize your stuff? Because what I'm telling you is, even if it's hard for you to believe it now, if the various things you might be doing, like for example, eating stuff like potato chips all the time, and just processed snack stuff that comes in little packages and boxes and stuff like that, drinking sweet drinks all the time, sodas and energy drinks and sweet tea and all that stuff like 24/7, day after day after day. These things are not trivial. They're not. They have an effect. If you're drinking that stuff all the time, if you're eating the junk all the time, then it has a negative effect, a cumulative negative effect. Now, you may have been eating this stuff for years and years and even decades and whatnot, but you may have gotten used to just being something that you do, and it hasn't really entered your mind that over time, whatever you do consistently has a cumulative effect, good or bad. Us consuming mostly processed food over a long period of time has a bad effect. But what we attribute um us starting to feel achy and starting to develop health problems, what we tend to attribute that to is we're just getting older. But that is so not correct. Do not trivialize the things that you do every day and the effect that those things have on your health. It's not trivial. I'm telling you, even if it's hard for you to believe it now, all I'm saying is try it. Try to go to bed consistently at a certain time and then get up after you've gotten 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Do it every day. Every day. Don't drink sweet drinks or limit those, and drink lots of water and do it every day. You don't have anything to lose. You have nothing to lose. And I'm telling you, you have a whole lot to gain. But my point is, instead of us simply thinking that stuff just happens and then you just go to the doctor and take whatever they say to take, just kind of I just want to help you to understand that that's not all that you have in your toolbox to do. There's a lot that you can do for yourself. Now, will it cure you? I mean, I can't make any claims like that. I will say a lot of people who have really paid attention to their health have actually overcome their illnesses. of varying severities. I can't say what will happen to you, but what I can say is, I mean, it can't hurt to actually do things that take care of you. So one thing that, and I'll say this and I'll let this be it. While it's kind of hard for us sometimes to kind of link whatever we're used to doing day in and day out, like unhealthy foods and lifestyles and drinks and all this kind of stuff, it's sometimes hard for us to link those to health problems that we might develop over time. But one thing that we do know is you can't say that, for example, French fries and chips, sweet drinks, we already know that stuff is not healthy. We know it's not. Even if you don't necessarily think it's linked to illness, you know it's not healthy. So it can't hurt to adjust your lifestyle to a healthier one, to learn about everything you can do, everything you can control, and do that. It can't hurt. And it can possibly help. And I'm telling you, it can possibly help you a whole lot more than you realize. All right. Hopefully, this helps somebody. Y'all have a good morning. If you like this content, you might also be interested in one of my books. Learn how you can take steps literally today to successfully manage, control, and overcome common issues such as high blood pressure, diabetes, and belly fat. It's all about putting power back in your hands to improve your own health. Get your book copy today by the links in the description or by visiting SeanMcClendon.com/books. Also, don't forget, hit the like button and subscribe, and join my email list at SeanMcClendon.com/subscribe.